Hello everyone and welcome back to Unity of Command. This is the standalone scenario Zitadelle, Unternehmen Zitadelle, Operation Citadel from the Red Turn DLC. This is the first scenario chronologically, and the Red Turn DLC is actually dedicated to the Soviet campaign starting from summer 1943 and culminating in the Battle of Berlin, so the end of the war in Europe. And interestingly, the first scenario is actually a standalone one from the Axis side, one of only two scenarios in the whole DLC. So yeah, after actually after a 4 months lull in fighting, there weren't any major actions or offensives on the Eastern Front between mid-March and July the 5th, and now it's time to continue. So, July the 5th, 1943. After the Third Battle of Kharkov, the Axis regained the strategic initiative. The first offensive of the summer campaign would be an attack towards Kursk to encircle several Soviet armies and draw in and destroy most of the Soviet mobile reserves. And I actually don't like this map. It's stated to be a one with medium difficulty, but this is not the case. It's a very easy map. What you're going to see is the first attempt. And there are two reasons that I dislike this map. Well, first of all, it's very easy and quite obvious what you need to do. So there is no strategic thinking needed. You can do it. I mean, if you're doing it like me chronologically, then you can do it with some routine and with one of your eyes closed. And the other thing is that it's totally unepic. This actually was the biggest tank battle in history, and yeah, and what we have here is pretty small scale, and it's over very quickly. It actually has 2 turns. I mean, sorry, the whole scenario can be played until turn 4, the end of turn 4. So it has one objective, Kursk, in the middle of the map. Capturing Kursk would seal the pocket on the forces to the west. Right. If you capture it on turn 2, you cannot capture it on turn 1, that's impossible, but if you capture it on turn 2, then you get a brilliant victory, turn 3 a major victory, and turn 4 a normal victory. That's also very simple, nothing, so there is no playing with the weather, with terrain, with supply, nothing. The weather is going to be fine. This is July, high summer. There is nothing that will affect us in any way. The terrain is simple. It's mostly open ground. The only item worthy of mentioning is these forest hexes to the north. I highly recommend you go around them, just east of them. That's what we are going to do. And supply, interestingly, in most of the scenarios that of this game, you have heard me saying that supply is the key. You know, we need to look at the supply situation and work with that. Well, not on this map. On this map, supply is of zero consequence. First of all, you cannot cut off the Soviets because they have 3 supply sources. So on the eastern end of the road, in Kursk itself, and yeah, and besides, we need to win in 2 turns. What that means is that we cannot wait until they run out of steam and start depleting anyway. Our supply is also excellent. We have 3 supply sources all on roads, so almost everywhere that the roads enter the map, practically from 1, 2, 3, from 5 options, or 5 routes entering the map, we have 3 supply sources. It is also of zero consequence. Even if you get cut off, it doesn't matter because your units will be able to act on turn 2, and you have to finish it on turn 2 for a brilliant victory anyway, so you don't even need to worry about your own supply. I kind of did, just out of respect for the game mechanics, but that's about it. So let's look at this. Immediately you can see, well, 2 things. First of all, that the Soviet forces are not heavily outnumbering the Germans, which was not the historical situation, and it makes our job very much easier than it should be. And yeah, and this is very obvious what we have to do. So you can separate or you can designate 3 separate front sectors rather. We have the main front sector in the south with our best units ready to advance. We have a whole bunch of useless infantry units in between the north and the south. They are all entrenched, and some of them have experience, some of them are a bit weaker than the others, but mostly they're just a dime a dozen. We will actually never do anything with them at all. There is no point. They cannot really assist, and as I've said, they're not needed, and as I've said, we're going to finish the map in no time. And also we have a small group of units, worthwhile units on the in the north. As for the Soviet forces, almost all of the units that are on the front line actually have the anti-tank gun specialist step attached to it, which is not going to help them much. As you know, this is not a very powerful specialist step, to put it mildly. And other than that, their main force consists of tank divisions or tank corps, and they're also pretty pathetic. Yes, they have 7 steps each, but so do we in many cases, and they have very little experience, so only 2 units with experience. They only have 2 guards tank corps, so 2 guards tank divisions. They do have quite a few tanks, so altogether 5 tanks, 4 T-34s and 1 KV-1s, which is not, do not underestimate the KV-1, it gets a +2 shift against armor, whereas the T-34 only gets a +1, so it's actually might be stronger against armor than the T-34. And against these units, which as I've said don't look very scary, 3 units with experience, sorry about that, we have in the south, we have everything we need. We have 5 tank divisions waiting here with at least 5 steps, and most of them are either elite or veteran. And our good old friends, the 4 Panzergrenadier divisions, so the first 3 SS divisions and the Großdeutschland Panzer division. Let's take a look at these ones. Let's take a closer look at these ones. We have the Stuck 3 attachment that we know, but we also get a new toy to play with, the Nashorn, and I have no idea why the game designer decided upon this piece of equipment, that it should be included in the game. I mean, I don't think it was like a pivotal or a very well-known piece of equipment. But anyway, the Nashorn, it's an anti-tank gun, an 88mm anti-tank gun mounted on I think it's a Panzer IV chassis. But in any case, it acts in this game. It acts as a tank, so it's not towed, which means you can use it after moving, and it confers some bonuses to your unit. It's not very great against infantry, but it gets a +3 shift against armor, so it's an excellent unit against armor. We also have the Leibstandarte has 7 steps, elite plus a Tiger attachment, so this unit is the best one on the battlefield. Some of these Panzer divisions are also elite, by the way, so practically nothing can stand against them. They have 6 steps plus their specialist step, so they're just excellent. The other 2 SS divisions are also great, by the way. One of them, the Totenkopf, is only veteran, and by only I mean it's still better than most everything on the battlefield. Everything else is elite. They don't have any specialist steps, but what the hey. And that's only the forces in the north. These forces need to capture Kursk, and you will see this is not really a difficult task. So all you need to pay attention to is always move your units from the back to attack, and then you can just plow through the enemy forces like a hot knife through butter. It's really very easy. We also have some units in the north. We have 1 Panzergrenadier division, which is depicted as a motorized division, 7 steps veteran, and 4 tank divisions, which are all veteran, ranging from 5 to 6 steps. And we have the Recon returning. We have a Nashorn in the north as well, and we have another toy to play, and this one is even more baffling. It's a Marder 3 Ausführung M, which is which was a stopgap anti-tank measure in reality. It's really strange that this is included in the game. It's basically acts as a very weak Nashorn, so it's relatively good against armored units, not so much against infantry. But once again, it's really just baffling that this piece of equipment specifically was included. In any case, the idea is very simple: drill forward to the objective and capture it. There is no strategic thinking about it. In the north, circumvent the forest, and you will not get far because you only have a limited amount of units here, but the idea is that the AI will get spooked and will allocate some of its units to the north. So let's see how it went. As I've said, it's pretty easy. So we with our first attack we already breached the front line, And yeah, this is our weakest unit here. It actually only has 5 steps and no experience whatsoever, and it still manages to break an enemy unit which has 7 infantry unit which has 7 steps, an anti-tank gun specifically for against this such an attack, I believe. And yeah, we don't deal it much damage, but it retreats, and so the way is kind of free. Let's use it. Let's use the Das Reich 2nd SS Division to destroy these regular infantry units, because it's fun. And yeah, let's attack with the Tiger. It actually was quite underwhelming, but what the hey. This went better. And we're just advancing. There is nothing really stopping us. And already on turn 1, one of our units, it couldn't attack because it was forced marched here. One of our units is sitting literally next to the enemy objective victory hex. So already on turn 1, it's very close to victory. So this is not really scary. We are so strong that we can face on attack literally the strongest enemy unit on the battlefield, which is a guards tank corps with the T-34 attached, and we can just mash our faces against it with this unit. This is not even our best unit by far, by the way, and it still worked out well, not great, but worked out decently. All right. At this point, there is no problem. There is no danger of that we will like lose or won't win the game. The only reason I want to keep the supply line intact, which is once again not a real necessity, is that this unit will get back into full supply if it receives supply. And by the way, we're sitting on the road hexes, literally up until the victory hex. And also furthermore, if the enemy counterattacks cause us some suppressed damage, that will also get negated by the beginning of the first, or at the beginning of the next turn, second turn. So that's why I decided to try to keep the supply route intact. This is not going to be a problem. We just bunch up on it, and if the AI decides to attack, then so be it. Actually, we even decide to remove units from this front line because it's not important. It's not at all important to keep the front line secure here. There's nothing here. We don't have a supply source here. There is no supply source here. There is literally nothing here that we need to defend in the southwest. So even if they decide to go on the attack, then hooray, I guess. They would run out of supply, but it doesn't matter because on the next turn we are going to win, and we have secured our supply, so that's great. There is this river here, so from the east we cannot even expect like an assault really, and these units won't be able to cause any real harm. Now, as I've said, in the north we also want to break through, and the idea there is very simple. We want to ensure that our units break through, and that the AI sends some unit in that direction. We can throw away all the infantry units that we want, and yeah, that's as far as we got, unfortunately. But you could have done probably a bit better than I did, to be honest. You could have captured that zone of control with some other unit, and you could have propelled the tanks more forwards. But again, this is not important in any way. Don't attack this unit because it sits in the forest, and so that might be a bit costly. All right, so turn 1 for the Soviets. They've already lost. There is nothing they can do really. And actually, the AI is going to put up a valiant effort. It's going to drive this unit back. It's only veteran, and yeah, and has no specialist step, so it's going to relentlessly assault it. As you can see, this unit puts up a fight. This is one of our weakest units. If like, it's not in the top 5 units that are stationed here, and it gets destroyed. But the amount of effort that it took for the AI to destroy it was extreme. And as you can see, it allocated two tank divisions to the north, which is great. If we wanted to, I think we could destroy most of the forces here, but there is no point. Yes, it drove us away from the victory hex by 1 hex, but this bunch is not going to stop us, that's for sure. Alright, it's still attempting to do stuff, and it actually managed to destroy 1 KIA from the Totenkopf. That's the weakest of the SS units, but again, these acts are of zero consequence. So is this. They are trying to retreat, trying to put up a front line. There is no need for a front line in this scenario, really, on either side, to be honest. So, alright. turn 2 we need to win this turn, and I don't even bother to act with the northern units or any of the infantry. This armored spearhead will have to do the job, and it will. I decide to attack this unit. It had more steps, but it was not veteran unlike the other ones, so it gets destroyed pretty easily. And now we're already attacking the victory hex. And for some reason the AI did not retreat. I think I had a 50% chance of retreating, and it didn't. That's perfectly fine. Since previously this unit with the Nashorn actually overran that unit that it got destroyed, it has still another attack in it. And this unit gets retreats. We send the Stugs in, and this unit gets destroyed, and we just march in. We still had, apart from the Totenkopf which just captured the victory hex, which still could have attacked, we had the Das Reich, the Großdeutschland, and also our weakest unit here as a standalone Panzer division with 0 experience to act. And as you can see, we were not even in any danger of not capturing this objective. So this is a very disappointing scenario in my opinion, and if you fail it because your units get dragged down or whatever, then you can restart it. It takes like 10 minutes to complete it, so it's not epic at all in any way, shape or form. But yeah, this is it. This is how the Red Turn DLC opens, if you play it chronologically. And this was the Battle of Kursk, Zitadelle, operations, or the Unternehmen Zitadelle. And yeah, if you're struggling with it, then just follow my lead, broadly speaking, and you shouldn't have any problems. Once again, if you do, then just restart it, and really it's a very short scenario anyway. So I thank you all for watching, and I hope you will join me for the other scenarios, which will present some reasonable challenges in the future. Bye bye.